I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On It. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to Speak On It. Welcome to Speak On it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 Who You With, Kurt, dog. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I'm Who You With, Kurt, dog. Hopefully y'all had a great day today. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Had a pretty good day. Before we get this party started, I want to say happy anniversary to my wife. 14 years today. It's been a great ride, and I'm looking for many, many more to come. So happy birthday to you, baby. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, D Live as always in the house, and also Anchor FM. We are recording those shows live, and we will be putting them up on that platform. Also, you could take the time out and subscribe to the channel on Anchor.fm and be a part of supporting the show. It's just $2.99 a month, so definitely take advantage of it. Today, we actually have a full schedule for today. I forgot to update my my alert on my monitor, but there was a shooting today in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Winston-Salem at a high school. One person dead, and the shooter is arrested. Also, we're going to talk about Benjamin Dagley. We didn't know his name the other day, but this is the guy that ran up on the news reporter for MSNBC, Shaquille Brewster. So we found out a little bit of information about him. So we're going to talk about him tonight. And finally, and hopefully justice can be for Elijah McClain. That came out today that the grand jury did find 2 paramedics and 3 officers responsible for his death, and charges have been filed. So we're going to talk about that. They have been indicted. So then Mitch McConnell. So we're going to hit on Mitch tonight too. And hopefully this would shut up my pillar guy and all these non-believers believing that Trump is coming back. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And then if we have time, because like I said, it's a lot tonight. If we have time, we're going to talk about that super spreader Trump had about a week ago. We're going to talk about that again because some new news have came out. So we're going to talk about that too. So hopefully y'all are ready to get this party, because it's going to be I won't say fast, but we're going to get it through. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos out of Canada. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. And everyone that just came in, definitely welcome to the show. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt, dog. I am Who You With, Kurt, dog. Regardless of what platform you are on, please take the time to like, share, click the notification, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube or whatever you're on. And if that particular platform has the capability, some hearts for us. And we really appreciate it. Yeah, I kind of moved it over my screen over a little bit tonight. I wanted to see that background, the Dallas background, for people can see we are in Dallas. That's the ball right there. But so I kind of moved it up, made myself a little bit bigger, not real big. Didn't want to take up the full screen. So hopefully I guess I need to move it over a little bit because looking at my monitor up there, I'm a little bit too far over. So let me adjust that real quick. Hold on. Abracadabra. Bam. I believe that'll do it. This shooting that happened in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I keep wanting to say South Carolina for some reason. The story is still sketchy. But it happened this morning. Authorities say following a shooting at Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem, response in school lockdown. The Bethlehem Chavez Nard Williams Jr. His speech wasn't immediately available. A suspect was taken into custody without incident Wednesday evening. The sheriff office said did not identify the suspect. The school was forced to lock down Wednesday, according to a statement from Forsyth County Sheriff Office. Earlier report indicate multiple shots were fired at the school. The sheriff office said, and the Winston-Salem Police Department have secured the campus, according to the statement. But there doesn't appear to be a suspect in custody. Officials confirmed that all other students were safe. We have no confirmed information of any other shooting or injuries, police said in a statement. Fantiza Hans said she was on the phone with her sister, a student at Mount Tabor, shortly after noon. She said she heard multiple gunshots fired at the school. Tammy Moore was among a group of parents gathered at Polo and Petrie Road. This is crazy. I'm just trying to find my baby, Moore said. She spoke to her grandson, Lonzo Day, and he told her that he got pushed into a locker room when the shooting started. He was unarmed. Her daughter recently moved from Philadelphia because she thought Winston-Salem would be safer. And then this happened. Sasha Patterson spoke with her ninth grader. Neighbor Bernard was nearby the scene where gunfire broke out. Patterson said her daughter was heading toward the gym and started running as soon as she heard gunshot. She took shelter in the girls' locker room and was unharmed. Renard High School was also put under lockdown around 2 p.m. following concern on social media that the shooter was allegedly heading that way, heading there. Parents were lined up in front of the school only to find that the school was locked down, that the children were inside in the classroom, that they couldn't pick up their kids until police could give the all clear. Police were stationed around the school, but there was no evidence on any issues. Still, parents were worried. Jessica Perez said her daughter, Elena, who is a freshman, was texting her from inside the classroom. She said they were told to be quiet and not make any noise. She said that some kids was crying and wanting their parents, but they are not letting anyone leave, Jessica Perez said. Some parents were visibly angry as they stood outside Reynolds High School. One parent was heard shouting she wanted her child out of the school. Governor Roy Cooper issued a statement after the shooting at Mount Tabor. For the second time this week, we have seen a shooting in a North Carolina school, Cooper said. Our prayers are with the victims, their families, and all the students of Mount Tabor High School in Winston-Salem. I have been briefed by law enforcement and the Department of Public Safety. It's ready to provide any support necessary. We must work to ensure the safety of student and educator, quickly apprehend the shooter, and keep guns off school grounds. Yeah, another school shooting. And I know this is in North Carolina, but I'm not sure what the gun laws are because they haven't identified the suspect yet. And since they haven't identified, I don't know what age he is or anything like that, but I do know people in that area, and there's a lot of speculation going on social media, so we don't know what's what. So I guess we'll try to get a better update on tomorrow and kind of see what's going on. But this is why we need better gun laws. This is why. Opening up for anybody can get access to it is setting up a big thing. And not only that, they said this is the second shooting at a North Carolina school. And did he say in 2 weeks or in 2 days? I'm trying to make sure if he said no, that's the second time this week that had been a shooting at North Carolina school. So that's crazy. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. Thank you for always tuning in and supporting the show. I appreciate you. So this is a very scary situation, and I don't know much about the school because they're not putting out too much information. But if this is the second shooting at Carolina school, it's hard to get if it's kids, hard to get in the guns because that's a concern. They getting access to guns like this very easy. Now I know if you want to get a gun, you can definitely get one. But just because you have one, don't mean you should have one. I'm trying to see if I can find out the name of the other school and if anyone was killed or anything like that. So it's still updating. I'm still getting a lot of reports about it, but so definitely, if you have family in North Carolina, definitely go check on your people. Make sure they are right, because whatever the case may be, it's a lot of speculation going on. Some people said it was from a beef from the summer. School just started, and there was some type of beef going on. I don't know. This is not good. So hopefully praying for the family and also for the people involved, because can you imagine your child go to school and not coming home? That's crazy. Isn't the answer to arm everybody? This is what the gun nuts always say. You know, I had someone to leave a comment today about the show last night, saying finally, they asked the question, how many felons have firearms? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure it's quite a bit. But then in that same statement, they was like, finally, everybody can carry a gun. Well, the thing is, what you don't realize, that bill that was passed here in Texas that went into effect today, it do not give someone with that is a felon the right to carry a gun, because that will cause them to end back up in jail. So know the law, know the law. Don't find yourself in trouble. Read the law for yourself. And there's a lot of laws that was passed. I think I've seen some story where it said over 600 laws, seen some that said over 900. So it's a lot of laws that went into effect today. So we're going to continue to read through them and kind of see what's going on. TCAL said, yeah, that's scary. Yes, school just started and we are in a pandemic. What beef? Have no idea. Have no idea. That's what the word on the street is. It was some type of beef between the victim and the suspect. So I don't know for sure. I'm gonna wait until more information come out before I speculate on it. But talking with people in that area, that's what the word on the street is. But I don't know. So how much time we have? The other day we talked about MSNBC news reporter was doing an update on Hurricane Ida in Gulfport, Mississippi. And then a white pickup truck roll up on him. You see the guy getting out the truck, running toward him, holding his hat, trying not to fall because the wind was still kind of high. And he approached the cameraman. Then he turned around and approached the reporter, and the reporter that was back in the newsroom said, "We'll be back with him. I'm sure he's okay. We'll be back." Well, they identified that man, and I'm gonna just say this: you doing some dirt. Why are you bringing attention to yourself? His name is Benjamin Eugene Dagley. Is an Ohio man accused of confronting MSNBC reporter Shaq Brewster in Mississippi while he was on air talking about Hurricane Ida. Gulfport police say he is wanted on multiple charges. In Gulfport, police say he is on probation in his home state of Ohio. He was identified after police asked for tips from the public. Video of the August 30th, 2021 incident went viral on social media. Brewster was not injured. An arrest warrant charging the 54-year-old Dagley with 2 counts of simple assault, 1 count of disturbance of the peace, and 1 count of violation of emergency curfew was issued on August 31st, 2021. Gulfport police said in a press release. According to police, Gulfport Authority contacted the Cuyahoga County Adult Probation Department after reviewing Dagley's criminal history and determined there could be a possible probation violation in Ohio. One of the conditions of Dagley probation including restriction on travel. Police said Dagley lived in Worcester, Ohio. Further investigation revealed that Dagley had left the area and is no longer on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The press release said the Gulfport Police Department would like to thank the public for coming forward and helping identify Dagley. And they say, here what you need to know about Benjamin Dagley. He could be heard saying, report accurate, while running up to Brewster and getting in his face. Gulfport police said Ben Dagley confronted MSNBC correspondent Shaq Brewster on Highway 90 on August 30th, 2021, by 12:38 p.m. during a citywide curfew. Police put out a request for help to identify him. The video showed Brewster reporting near the water about Hurricane Ida. When a white truck quickly pulled up behind him, a man can be seen getting out of the driver's seat of the truck and running toward Brewster. And he was talking to MSNBC, Craig Melvin, live on air. Brewster turned to see the man yelling at him and say to Melvin, I think we even have a random person going around. As the man yelled, report accurate. Brewster then moved away from the man and tell his camera person to turn away and say, I'm going to turn this way because, we deal with people every once in a while. Brewster then continued his report until the man yelling can be picked up by his microphone. Brewster tell Melvin, Craig, I'm going to toss it back to you because we have a person who need a little help right now. The man then gets into Brewster's face again, screaming, report accurate. Melvin then say, hey, as the TV network cut back to him. There's a lot of crazy out there, Melvin said. Melvin later returned to there and called the man a wacky guy and said, Shaq, he's okay. So secondly, what they say you need to know about Dagley, he pled guilty to vandalism, inducing panic and attempted assault after drilling holes into tanks of dangerous chemicals at a company he previous owned, not worked at, owned, sending an employee to the hospital. So he was arrested in 2017 in Ohio in the incident at a company he once owned, Cleveland Planning, according to Cleveland.com. Dagley, being 50, was accused of breaking into the electrical planning company and drilling holes into tank containing dangerous chemical. One employee was hospitalized for exposure to toxic chemicals. Police said at the time, adding that the incident could have caused an environmental disaster. That's one thing. That's the second thing. Dagley has other previous arrests on his criminal record, including severe traffic violation. And there was a couple other things, but bottom line, he rolled up on him. They get his license plate, and he's, as of before I came on, he haven't been arrested. Police said Dagley is believed to be driving a white 2016 Ford F-150 with Ohio license plate PJR 1745. PJR 1745. And the dude is Coco for Cocoa Puff. Now, the reason why he was there in the Gulfport, nobody knows why. So, yeah, that's definitely crazy. Radio said maybe he was at the Capitol. Also, he certainly has the intelligence to do something like that. They might need to check it out. Might be. Maybe he knew they was coming for him, and that's why he was on the run out of the Gulfport. I don't know. He ended up in the Gulfport. I don't know. All aboard. Welcome to the show. Yes, we are live. What's up, Chad and Kurt Dog? I appreciate you for always tuning in. So thank you for supporting the show. And you in a little bit early tonight, so that's good. But here's the information about what he's driving: a white 2016 Ford F-150 with Ohio plates, PJR 1745. If you see him, do not try to apprehend him. Notify the popos. Let them deal with him because the man ain't playing with a full deck. So also. I should have said it earlier. If you are on my personal Facebook page, please take the time and go over to the podcast page, speak on it with Who You With Kurt Dog, and then you can live chat with us in the chat. It'll come up on my monitor, and we can be able to chat with you. So that's just two of the stories we had to go through today. But it's crazy how the shooting at the school, and then you have Benjamin Dagley from Ohio, who never should have left Ohio. I think he wanted to get caught, because here it is, you coming up on a reporter doing a live news broadcast, and you rolling up on them like they don't have cameras or nothing, which is crazy. You know they recording, and you telling them report the news accurate. What exactly you want in to report about the hurricane? It was, well, I don't know if it was a tropical storm then, but I don't know if it was a tropical storm by the time it made it to Gulfport. But the destruction that it made before getting there, what type of accurate that you want him to report? Hell, it's a curfew. What more do you need to know? It's a curfew. You violated that curfew, and you on videotape attacking this reporter. So, like I say all the time, you do the crime, you do the time. Good luck. Hope you don't end up in the cell with R. Kelly, allegedly with R. Kelly, because if he goes, I we'll see about that too. But you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. We're going to continue to go on with the show. Once again, I want to once again tell my beautiful wife happy anniversary. She's been putting up with me for 14 years. And so it take a strong woman to deal with me. I'm not a hard person to get along with, but 14 years is a long time. So I appreciate her for dealing with me with the up and down. And I was talking to Sean Martin today. He was like, man, 14 years. I'm like, yep, been on this. And Sean, actually, him and his wife been on this journey with us this whole time. So I appreciate them. I tried to respond to all the message on Facebook, and unfortunately, I couldn't respond to all of them, because when I got off the air last night, it was about midnight when I shut it down. But I put a message up, and I was doing good then. I was doing good at first, and did good. Um, I was actually rolling with it. Then I had an appointment I had to get to. And I looked at, hey, I tried. I tried. I might get it done by the end of the month. I don't know. But I want to thank every wished us a happy anniversary. Appreciated all the people that did it, and that's what we did. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dove. We're actually going to go on to Colorado. So we talked about this show a while back. This story, I said a show. T-Cal, thank you, said I was going to say she must be a strong woman. Dealing with me for 14 years, she have to be strong. You seem to be a good man. Congratulations to you both. Thank you. I appreciate it. So it came out today that after they shut the case of Elijah McClain death, and then the outpour that came out, we did a story about it. So finally, they reopened it, sent it back to the grand jury, and that's where we are today. It came out today, 3 officers and 2 paramedics are charged in Elijah McClain's death. A grand jury has issued charges in the 2019 death of Mr. McClain, a young black man who was put in a chokehold while walking home from a convenience store. A Colorado grand jury indicted 3 police officers and 2 paramedics in the death of 2019 death of Elijah McClain, a young black man who had been walking home when he was stopped by the police, put into a chokehold, and injected with a powerful anesthesia. The Attorney General of Colorado announced on Wednesday. Attorney General Phil Weiser, who had been named as a special prosecutor in the case, announced the 32-count indictment almost 2 years to the day after Mr. McClain's death. Our goal is to seek justice for Elijah McClain, for his family and friends, and for our state, Mr. Weiser said in a news conference announcing the charges. The coming months of investigation, protests, and calls for justice by Mr. McClain's family and friends that were amplified by the nationwide protests after George Floyd murder. We're here today because Elijah McClain is not here, and he should be, Mr. Weiser said. The 5 defendants involved in Mr. McClain's death in rural Colorado, just east of Denver, will each face 1 charge of manslaughter and criminal neglect homicide, as well as a variety of assault charges. The 3 rural police officers charged in Mr. McClain's death were Randall Rodema, Nathan Woodyard, Jason Rosenblatt, who was fired last year. The paramedic are Jeremy Cooper and Peter Shachanik of the Aurora Fire Department of the city indicate that the officer and medic still with the department would be suspended without pay. While it is uncommon for police officers to face criminal charges for on-duty death, it is rare still for firefighters or paramedics to be charged. The indictment, unsealed on Wednesday, accused the paramedic of failing to follow medical protocol before and after they injected Mr. McClain with ketamine. Mr. McClain, 23, was already handcuffed when the medic arrived at the scene. And the indictment say they did not talk to Mr. McClain, check his vital sign, or properly monitor him after giving him a powerful drug. An autopsy report by the Adams County coroner said that the cause of death was undetermined and that it could have been a result of natural causes, a homicide related to the Corte hold, or an accident. Mr. McClain's mother, Shanina McClain, said she had been praying for this day in the 2 years since her son's death. She has been fighting for answers and changes to Colorado laws by speaking out, giving interviews and testimony before state lawmakers. Anything, she said, to carry on the legacy of her son she raised as a single mother, sometimes barely getting by. It was my job to make sure the whole world knew about him and how he was killed unjustly, and through no fault of his own, Ms. McClain said in an interview on Wednesday. Ms. McClain said she was told about the criminal charges a day before they were announced. At first, she said the multiple count of assault and homicide seemed like a strapped number, but then import, she said, has been greatly sinking in. He never should have been killed, she said. Elijah believed in our humanity. He showed more humanity to those that killed him than the ones who were supposed to protect and serve him. He believed in our capacity to love one another. The death of Mr. McClain, who was described by friends and family as a gentle person who loved animals and taught himself to play the violin, touched off protests across Denver in a flurry of investigation, lawsuits, and demands for police reform. Mr. McClain had been walking home from a convenience store, carrying a bag with cans of iced tea at 10:30 p.m. on August 24th, 2019, when he was stopped by three Aurora police officers responding to a 911 call from a suspicious person. Mr. McClain, who had been wearing a face mask and listening to music, told the officer he was simply walking home and asked the police to let him go, let go of him, according to an independent review of the incident. The officer grabbed Mr. McClain's arm, pushed him against a wall, and pulled them to the ground. They used what is called a Carter hold to subdue Mr. McClain, a potential dangerous restraint to the neck that resists blood to the brain. I'm an inverter and I'm different, Mr. McClain told the police, according to the audio recording from the stop. I'm just different. That's all. That's all I was doing. I'm so sorry. Mr. McClain was brought to a hospital unconscious and never recovered. He was taken off life support and died on August 30th, 2019. Lawyers for the officer and paramedic cannot be immediately reached for comments. Shortly after the indictment were announced, the Aurora Police Associate put out a statement defending the officer and saying there was no evidence the officer caused Mr. McClain death. Our officer did nothing wrong, the group said, adding the historical overreaction to this case has severely damaged the police department. Chief Vanessa Wilson of the Rural Police Department, who was appointed a year after Mr. McClain's death, said the department will cooperate with the legal process. The state attorney general office is also conducting a broader investigation into practice at the Rural Police Department. This tragedy will forever be imprinted on our community, Chief Wilson said in a statement. Mr. McClain was unarmed and had not been suspected of committing any crime as officer used force to subdue him. Mr. McClain reportedly apologized to the officer and said he cannot breathe. I can't breathe, please, he said at one point. An independent review of Mr. McClain's death released this February issue, a stretching category of errors committed by the officer and paramedic during the encounter and the investigation that followed. Prosecutor in Adams County, Colorado, declined to file criminal charges against the three officers involved in Mr. McClain's death. Governor Jared Polis appointed Mr. Weiser as a special prosecutor in June 2020 to investigate Mr. McClain's death. The grand jury, which had been investigating the case since December, issued the indictment and concluded its work last Thursday, Mr. Weiser said. Corsar Mohammed, lawyer for Miss McClain, held the charges as said they reflect her tireless work to fight for justice for her son. The result for her advocacy, Mr. McClain said, result in law changes and her constant love for Elijah has shown up today. I know that was long, but it needed to be said because the thing is, we did a story on this earlier this year about this, and they should have followed protocol. Unfortunately, for those three officers, and unfortunately, I don't know who the three officers are personally. Haven't seen no pictures of them, but I talk about this quite a bit. Um, Over 20 years ago, when I was stopped by the police for driving a brand new Mountaineer early in the morning on my way to work in uniform, and stopped by two cops where they tried to provoke me, wanted me to sit in a car to look at their computer, which that would have been a no-no, because if I would have got in there, they would have said I try to take the car, or try to grab the weapon or whatever. And this is a similar incident. We see this happen also often where an unarmed black person is approached by the police for no reason, and a lot of time it either in death or serious injury. So uh, to the mother, I'm glad it's heading in the right direction, but now we need to see the full justice and hold them accountable for his death. Elijah McClain death, they need to be held accountable for their action. Um, uh, Radio said the paramedics should have given the cops a shot of ketamine. They were the ones that needed to be calmed down. Yeah, they should have. They definitely should have done something. They should have followed protocol, and because they did not, that's the reason why they in the hot seat themselves. Um, and I could just imagine they probably came out laughing, joking, because we seen incidents like that. We seen that here in Dallas several years back, where a person called for help that was having a mental breakdown, and the officer joked about it, and the DA refused to charge them after they put him in cuffs, had him on his stomach, and they laughed, talking about, oh, wake up, it's time to go to school and stuff like this, which is very rude. And you should not be a cop doing those type of things. You don't have no sympathy for a person feeling. Yeah, if they done something wrong, you definitely want to still treat them with respect. But um, we see these happen all so often. In that case in Dallas, it did not happen with it did not happen against a black victim. The victim was actually Caucasian. I cannot remember his name, but I remember it happened off of 35 in Regal Road several years back, and the current DA uh, did press charges against those officers. So I'm happy to report that the grand jury did indict these officers and the paramedic, because when a person needs medical treatment, they're the best thing that you could get at that time, and they should have followed their protocol. So yeah, um, that's 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 on herself. We want to be able to get them all done and real quick. So Mitch McConnell, yeah, let's talk about Mitch, and hopefully this clears up a lot of stuff. Um, and what I mean about that, because I think the other day my pillow guy changed the date when Trump was coming back. That's what he said. He changed the date, said, "Oh, Trump coming back on this day. This is when Trump is coming back." Well, Mitch McConnell, he cleared that up. Um, Senator Republican leader Mitch McConnell said Wednesday that there isn't going to be an impeachment of President Joe Biden over the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, noting that Democrat controlled the House and Senate. I think the way these behavior get adjusted in this country is at a ballot box. Oh, now they want to talk about voting. But then they start talking about fraud when they don't get their way. Said McConnell at an event in Pikesville, Kentucky. The president is not going to be removed from office with a Democratic House and a narrowly Democratic Senate. That's not going to happen. McConnell remarks came nearly a week after a suicide bombing attack outside Kabul airport, killing 13 U.S. service members and over 170 civilians. The organization that claimed responsibility for the deadly explosion is known as the Islamic State, or ISIS -K. Some Republicans, including Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn and South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, have since said the president should resign or face impeachment. Biden defended his decision to withdraw U.S. troops in a speech at the White House on Tuesday, a day after the last American military plane left the country, marking the conclusion of the United States' longest war. Biden also paid tribute to the service members who were deployed, including the 13 who died in a terrorist strike. The bottom line is there are no evacuation from the end of a war that you can run without the kind of complexity, challenge, threats we face. None, he said. So hopefully, all these folks that think Trump is coming back in the office this year, Mitch McConnell just cleared that up. I don't want to hear that Trump will be back on this day, that day. Trump ain't coming back. And if y'all crazy enough to vote that man back in office, to the hell with it. But he's not coming back. Matter of fact, Trump may be in somebody's jail cell, or knowing him, he'll take the real easy way out. The radio said the GOP would impeach Biden for breathing too much air if they take back the House in 2022. I don't see that happening. I think too many people is tired of the GOP and the madness that they cause, all the madness and confusion that they cause in our leadership, because everything they go against, if you really for American, let's pass some bills that's gonna make a difference, that's gonna benefit everybody. But still, you would knock it down. People must not forget last year when this pandemic started, it took them almost a year to get the second stimulus check out. How many people lost their homes and have apartments and stuff like that? And speaking of that, I want to say the Supreme Court last week said that it's okay to evict people, even though we're still in a pandemic. I understand the places got to be paid because it's going to end up causing problems if they don't get paid. They got bills to pay to these owners, and I understand that. So, but some people abuse the system. Some people just can't do it. You got to choose between medicine and food and all of this. And if you don't have it, you don't have it. But you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go, unfortunately. Radio said if Democrats don't turn out to vote in 2022, they have a good chance. That's why I talk about voting all the time on the show. Because I don't care who you vote for. Get out and vote. And if you don't go vote, don't complain about nothing. Don't complain about one thing if you did not get out and vote. So that's your choice. but don't complain about it if it don't go your way. That's the way I see it. Don't complain about it. But also, and I'm gonna try to finish this up quick. I I go long winded. Out of It's my anniversary, so having dinner as soon as I get off. Um, so I'm not gonna be on here long. I'm gonna run through these other two real quick. If we don't get through it, we'll talk about it tomorrow with Miss Risky. But a week ago, Trump had a rally in Cullinan County, Alabama, a conservative school district where Trump held massively mega rally, suddenly reversed course on COVID mandates. Um, 1 week after Trump brought his traveling COVID circuit to town, nearly 1/3 of students in Cullinan County, Alabama, are out because of coronavirus. Um, there are very few places whiter than Cullinan County, Alabama, and the 2020 presidential election, 88.1% of Cullinan County residents voted for Donald Trump, according to the Cook Political Reporter. The home base of Alabama 4th Congressional District is quite literally the Trumpiest place in America. In a state known for racism in college football, Cullinan County was the site of two Alabama most notorious sundown town, including a sign warning visitor. Niggers, don't let the sun go down on you in this town. In a U.S. Congress report, the most violent of today, KKK grouping operated a campsite in Cullinan, suspect to be located on the 47 acres property owned by Alabama Grand Dragon. To be fair, it was a long time ago, in 1980. So, of course, Cullinan was the perfect location for Donald Trump and bulletproof vest wearing insurgent promoter Mo Brook to hold, while people would start to announce Brooks' run for the U.S. Senate, signing the hit song Mask. We don't need no stinking mask. An estimated 50,000 mega muffins attended the biggest political rally in history of the state to enjoy America's newest virus sensation. Apparently, they knew the words to all the song. Since the Caucasian COVID convention, the anti-mask, anti-vaxxer parents of Cullinan have realized that the feeling making their chest swell with pride is actually tiny bits of coronavirus multiplying in their lungs. Now, the county is in the threshold of the worst spot of COVID cases this year. An average of 76 cases per day were reported in Cullinan County. The New York Times report a 32% increase from the average 2 weeks ago. Because Alabama doesn't have a robust contact tracing program, it is impossible to directly arbitrate Cullinan County's spike in COVID cases to Donald Trump. However, Cullinan 14-day rise in positive cases more than double the state increase. And while Alabama hospitalization rate has risen by 16% in the last 2 weeks, Cullinan County is seeing a 90% increase. And still, this can't be directly tied to Donald Trump. I'm not an expert on healthcare in the area. There were people, I can assure you, that said, by golly, I'm going to see that Trump rally. I've been waiting on this forever. I guarantee you there were people that were sick, said Judy Smith, an actually health expert in the area days before the rally. Smith, the administrator of the Alabama Department of Public Health Northern District, told reporters that she was shivering in her boots about the prospect of overwhelming hospital. But This story is not about how Trump brought COVID to town. It's about how the town suddenly reversed course after COVID appeared at the mega family reunion after months of defying state and local health authority by not requiring masks. The overwhelming conservative local school leader have stepped into the Stop the Mask sacrifice of Colum youth to the mega Jesus. The CDC report that only 35% of Colum County residents over 12 years old are vaccinated. And as far as the masks are concerned, Colum County School officially say they were rather governed by what people believe instead of science. 2 days before mega rally, Colum County School Superintendent Shane Barnett said school would leave the mask debate up to individual family, despite the fact that the school had recorded 400 absent by student and staff members. We're not requiring masks, Barnett said in a videotape statement. I want it to be a parent choice. I think that's important for whatever reason. Some people believe in masks, some people don't. And I'm not here to debate that today. Apparently, guidance from the Alabama Department of Public Health, the CDC, and every sane doctor on the planet is not as valid as advice from Donald Trump and his coronavirus breeding cohort for whatever reason. Then COVID came to town and suddenly everyone changed their mind. On Wednesday, August 25th, 4 days after Megapalooza, the Coleman County Board of Education announced 5 schools would temporarily transition to remote learning, explaining that it will uh, institute a mask mandate if COVID forced over 15% of the district students to miss school. The board noted that student enrollment absent due to either a positive COVID test or because they have been identified as a close contact is reaching 1/3. 2 days later, they closed down the County Child Development Center. Meanwhile, in a separate Colum City School District, CCS, and one mega maniac filed suit against the district for even suggesting that mask and vaccine work. On August 19, Brian Olstead filed a petition in the Colum County Circuit Court asking the judge to prevent the district from continuing any advance in promotion of providing vaccine on Colum City ground, and the promotion of mass usage through any and all media, reports CBS 42. It is not quite clear why Olga was so concerned concerning the fact that the CCS told parents that they wouldn't mandate masks. However, after the coronavirus cookout came to town, the school board changed its tune and implemented a mask mandate at 2 schools. For whatever reason, the board finally realized that COVID was, in fact, not on par with the seasonal flu, as Mega Matlock contended in its lawsuit, where we respect the choice of parents in regards to masks. These preventive steps are necessary to slow the spread of COVID. The school board explained on its Facebook page. This mandate will be for 2 weeks, beginning Monday, August 30th, and expiring on Friday, September the 10th at the end of school day. Everything would probably be fine after that. Everyone knows this will last only a couple of weeks. Colum County School are 92% white and 1% black, while the much more diverse Colum City School Districts only 90% white and 1% Negro. What the hell? And if you wonder whether Colum County conservative Coachella caused an outbreak in adjoining county, the answer is probably neighboring Winston County and Blount County are whiter, more conservative, and more anti-vaccine than Colum County. In Blount County, only 26% of the population aged 12 to 18 had received one dose of the vaccine in Weston County, it's 19%. I know you're expecting a joke about how COVID is lighting up a Weston or hitting a blunt. Uh, but I'm not that kind of person. We should just be thankful that everyone is changing their tune, apparently when it comes to the coronavirus. They don't want that smoke. Um, that was actually courtesy of the Roots. Uh, so definitely, no matter where you are, um, protect yourself. Protect yourself. Radio said the great orange clown will be known as the super spreader president. Hey, he's doing what he have to do, um, doing what he have to do, and putting a lot of lives in danger. 50,000 people, 50,000 people, 50,000 people showed up, and that's my old town. Yeah, 50,000 people. Now, some people say, "Oh, that wasn't their fault." Yeah, but somebody came up in there. Yeah, they came up in there with all of that, with no mask. Came up in there sneezing on folks, shaking hands, hugging each other, coughing, sneezing, and you passing it from hand to hand, and then you go and get you something to eat, and you ain't wash your hands, and now you just tuck it all. Um, and I'm like, hey, I don't understand it. He just doing what he got to do. Um, Radio said, why is he holding rallies? He lost. You're exactly right. He did lose, and they raised over $1 million. He's trying to raise up that fund to pay that $1 billion bill. That's why he's doing it. That $1 billion coming up soon. He gotta pay. That's what he's doing. Marcellus Smith, the hardest working man in Louisiana, is in the house. He said, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Welcome. Glad you made it tonight. I think you be sitting back listening when I say I'm getting ready to get off there. You pop in. No, but I know you working. Um, I understand you working. You got to do what you got to do. But definitely support yourself. Continue to protect yourself, and make sure that even what they say on the news, continue to wear your mask, continue to protect yourself regardless of what they say. This is not a game. It's not a drill. It's not like how it used to be. And when we was at school, when they do the fire drill, tornado warnings, and we used to line up in the hallway, put our head between our knees and hand behind our head, or go out in the fire drill. And in Texas, it was hot. So, yeah, this is not that type of drill. This is real. So, definitely protect yourself. Now, also, I wasn't going to hit on it, but since Anchor already stopped, because that was a long story, I thought I had enough time to read it. Marcella said, I get my next vaccine Saturday. I'm still wearing my mask. I don't blame you for wearing your mask, even though I had both of them. I still wear my mask. Wear two of them to be exact. So I don't care. People look at me crazy, as long as they don't say that. But yeah, I definitely wear my mask wherever I go, and so continue to protect yourself with that. Now, um, this story came out not too long ago. I'm gonna go ahead and hit on it. I was gonna bring it over to tomorrow, but I'm gonna hit on it. Once again, I want to thank everyone that wished my wife and I happy anniversary. 14 years. 14 years. like I said, I'm in counseling, so I can tell you, it ain't always and haven't always been good, but you learn. And thank God for my counselor, because she probably would have broke my neck if I didn't get it. Yeah, but I thank God for that. And 14 years is a long time, and I thank God for bringing her to me. Um, So this story came out. Another Trump Organization executive to appear before New York grand jury as prosecutor probe former president business. That's why he's not coming back to the White House. He might be at the big house. He ain't talking about the White House. It might be clank clank. Um, so Trump Organization corporate director of security is suspected to appear before a grand jury on Thursday in Manhattan, where prosecutors are investigating former President Donald Trump business, according to a person familiar with the matter. The executive, Matthew Calamar Jr., was served a subpoena to testify, and he is suspected to appear to answer questions before the grand jury. The source said Calamar Jr. is the son of the company chief operating officer, a longtime Trump deputy, who is also under scrutiny by prosecutor in the Manhattan District Court District Attorney Office. The Wall Street Journal has first reported on Calamar Jr. Expected grand jury testimony under New York state law. Calamar Jr. will be granted transitional immunity on the subject. He testified about the decision to bring him before the grand jury. Sitting prosecutor do not plan to indict him. So, but he's still going to testify against Trump, and let's go ahead and put him where he's supposed to be, up under the jail. Um, I appreciate it, TKL. Good night to you. And on that note, I'm actually gonna end it. Yeah, it's kind of late. Wife just been working. We both tired, but we finna eat dinner. And no, radio, we're not going to the kid tonight. No, not this late. I don't eat steaks this late, but we probably go out to dinner tomorrow, because we had it been a rough week for us. So busy week for us. I won't say rough, a busy week. But other than that, tomorrow night, Miss Risky will be in the house. I've talked to her 2 days in a row this week. So she will be in the house tomorrow. We are working on some things. I appreciate it, Marcellus, and someone came into the chat last night and asked about the statistic of transgender attacks and murders and all of that. We will be covering that tomorrow. So hopefully you are listening tonight. I did the homework last night. Miss Risky is getting updated on it between tonight and tomorrow, and we're going to discuss it tomorrow. So along with some other things too. So until tomorrow night, I love each and every one of you. Please stay safe. Wash your hand. Wear your mask. Whatever you have to do to protect yourself. Until then, I love you. Until tomorrow night, if the good Lord said the same. Peace.